over BPL's announcement of an increase in fuel charge. And Margaritaville recording its highest cruise numbers since 2016. Plus, family members still on the hunt to find a missing Grand Bahama woman. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. It was unwelcoming news for customers of the Bahamas Power and Light as BPL officials announcing today an increase in the monthly fuel charge. The nation's chief, the Honorable Prime Minister Philip Davis, giving a statement concerning the increase during a special conference held in the nation's capital. Rumiko Knowles has tonight's top story.
Today, BPL is announcing an increase in the monthly fuel charge.
In February of this year, a decision was made to postpone the fuel increase, given the hardship Bahamian households were facing. Prime Minister Philip Davis says, unfortunately, they cannot postpone the increase any longer.
The government has approved BPL's request for this phased-in increase.
However, he notes that the government has worked to minimize the impact in multiple ways.
First, those who consume less, and a great many households fall in this category, will see a lower increase, 2 cents, instead of 4.3 cents per kilowatt hour. Second, the increases are phased in over time, allowing consumers to plan ahead. And third, the VAT ceiling for electricity will now be raised from $300 to $400, so no VAT will be due on bills up to $400.
But what's most important, he says, the increases are short-term.
After implementing price increases in stages over the next 4 quarters, BPL calculates that the fuel charge will begin to come down.
The Prime Minister contends that introducing the increase at this time coincides with low electricity consumption as opposed to the increase coming during the spring and summer months when people consume more electricity. He maintains that it all fits into the bigger picture, adding that since day one of their key priorities has been to transition the Bahamas to a more cleaner, more affordable energy.
That shift is underway. The solar microgrids in the Family Islands, which are already operating and will be expanded to benefit 17,000 Family Islanders, are, as I said, underway. Solar panels will be added to public buildings like schools, clinics, and libraries.
He adds that these and other initiatives are important steps in the right direction, but to change our country's energy infrastructure, to change how we generate, transmit, and store energy across the whole country, the Prime Minister says it involves huge investments.
This is one of the reasons I have worked so hard for our country to be the first in the world to sell blue carbon credits. We are going to protect our seagrasses and mangroves and at the same time earn revenue for the role they play in removing carbon from the atmosphere. We believe that using new revenue from carbon credits to invest in renewable infrastructure is going to be an important part of the way forward on clean energy.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Rumiko Knowles.
Meantime, Abaco's Chamber of Commerce President Daphne de Gregory Malouise applauding the government's efforts to create cleaner energy for Bahamians while highlighting the importance of becoming more energy conscious.
I'm very happy to see that the government is going on a greener, cleaner move towards supply. We need to be more conscious, and maybe this increase will force us to go that route. And in schools, maybe they can start teaching, our students about electricity and power consumption and how in their households they can help to reduce those costs.
The chamber president says she hears the cry of Abaconians constantly struggling without electricity, and she commends the government's move to utilize solar energy through the installation of solar panels and microgrids.
I really feel for my fellow Abaconians every time on the chat groups I hear power is out, power is out, power is out. And thank God for sun, we have not had to suffer those losses. So I encourage everyone who has the opportunity to phase into solar to do so, even if it's just to put it on your hot water heater.
In other news, the Ministry for Grants Bahama revealing some good news to over 300 persons employed with the program. Our Jolanda Thompson was present for the announcement of the program's extension, which continues to provide employment and support to many, all while beautifying the island. Here's that story.
That's right, Simone. The Ministry for Grand Bahama making the big announcement downtown Freeport. And it was the news that many of the workers needed to hear, an extension to the beautiful Grand Bahama program. Today, many shared their excitement to continue working while beautifying the island. They say while some outsiders may take this program for granted, it provides an opportunity for them to provide financially for their families. 350 workers remain committed to the beautiful Grand Bahama project. Project manager for the beautiful Grand Bahama Freeport Division, Franco Miller, says that although the program has been challenging, it has been rewarding for many.
This is a lot of people that's working. I just doing the Freeport division. You got the east and you got the west. So the money is, like I say, it's going throughout the community. People are being able to pay bills. So I think it's a good idea to extend it because now it's going into the Christmas. So people have money in their pocket to do stuff for the Christmas. And a lot of stuff that we didn't start off wanted to do, but we're getting so much calls. People wanted assistance with this and wanted that. So it's been really good getting some of the response from the public.
With the island's sluggish economy, some of the employers contend that they have been out of work for years, and this extension is a difference between providing for their families and not knowing where to turn to next. The grateful temporary workers are expressing gratitude and appreciation towards Minister Moxie's effort to extend this project.
It helped me a lot to take care of things at home and catch up on bills and, just take care of my kid and help with family stuff.
Experience has been a good experience. The people are very family friendly. The guys I'm around, they like to work. Everyone's driven, motivated to work. It's a peaceful, workful environment.
Very much for putting food on our table, clothes on our back, shoes on our feet, and a roof over our head. God is so good, and He sent you right here for us, and I appreciate you, and we love you, and thank you, and God bless you, and bless our Bahamas, and thank you for everything, beautiful Grand Bahama.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says the program is all about making a difference and impacting lives. The project, she contends, is also impacting lives by giving those with a criminal record a second chance. This is the second time the beautiful Grand Bahama program has been extended. Live in studio, I'm Jolanda Thompson. Back to you at the desk, Simone.
Thanks so much, Jolanda. And the good news continues across the sea on board Margaritaville. The ship value has seen an increase in customer numbers since its rebranding. And the CEO says tourism operators play a big role in the successful outcome. Jolanda Thompson reports.
Margaritaville reporting a marked increase in cruise travel. In fact, it is the highest since 2016. The company CEO revealing that the month of September has made history with an increase in sales by some 300%. Margaritaville CEO Kevin Sheehan says that since the company's launch and rebranding, business has been consistently improving.
Since May, our September bookings are up 300%. This has been the best September from a booking perspective that I've ever seen since 2016. And I think a lot of that has to do with the excitement for getting back to life for really most of Florida. Everybody is ready to go travel again. And the greatest place to go travel if you live in Florida is your next door neighbor in the Bahamas.
The CEO adds that despite some economic challenges, tourism operators on the island have played a major role in its newfound success.
The product is delivering, and we're seeing more and more customers come back from Grand Bahama pleasantly surprised, which is something that we're really happy about. As you know, post-hurricane, post-COVID, it was tough to get our feet settled, and I like to think that we worked hand in hand with the island. The excursion providers are back fully operational, the ship is back fully operational, and now it's really just down to making sure that we get as many people here to experience Grand Bahama and the true beauty of the island and the great culture of the people, which you guys have always done an amazing job at, and now we're just back to business.
Sheehan contends that improving the tourism product is important, especially if Margaritaville and Grand Bahama would like to continue reaping the benefits of economic stability.
Our product, right, we have a job to do. We got to get people on board, give them a great experience, and then bring them here. And I expect that all of our partners on the island will continue to improve their products as well, making sure that we're kind of delivering the best experience. Because if we can provide the best Bahamian experience in this whole group of islands, Grand Bahama is going to be on the map.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson.
Still no luck in the search for 56-year-old Stephanie Chisholm, who remains missing. Family members forming a search party to canvass areas in the heart of Freeport in hopes of finding the Grand Bahama resident. As Aja Quant reports, scores of residents gathered in the parking lot of the uniform factory with hopes of finding the missing woman, who also suffers from schizophrenia.
We really appreciate everyone that came out to assist.
The search continues for 56-year-old Stephanie Chisholm, who family members say was last seen in KFC downtown's parking lot. Now residents of the community and family members have come together to search for her. Residents and family members gathering in the uniform factory parking lot, the air filled with optimism and hope as the search team began dispersing in the various areas of downtown Freeport. It has been 2 months since Chisholm was last seen by family members, and now they are worried as they say Stephanie has a number of illnesses that may have been a contributing factor to her disappearance. They also mentioned that they have all began looking individually for her, but to no avail.
She'll go for a while, but you always see her frequent in the area and driving and passing. But after coming back from summer vacation, we realized, hey, we haven't seen her nowhere in a while. We started searching everyone individually by themselves, not even communicating with each other. And then during the wedding, everyone was like, hey, I haven't seen her in a while. What you think? And we start asking each other, and we form a group as a family, say, hey, we need to start looking for her.
The search party perused locations in the downtown area, like Barron's Court, abandoned buildings, Windsor on the Mall, and nearby bushes where she frequents.
She is so well known, someone would have been able to say, hey, I've just seen Stephanie. My phone don't stop ringing. Whether she would wonder in someone's yard, they'll give me a call and say, hey, your aunt is here. But this time around, it's different. We do our due diligence and check a lot of persons that she may actually reside with, and no one to be failure in each option.
And now residents have also flocked to the area to assist with the search.
I feel it's my obligation as a citizen, as a human being, to come out here and do the best I can and assisting in this effort.
Now they have yet to locate her, and for anyone with any information on the whereabouts of Stephanie Chisholm, you are asked to contact police at 911, Police Control Room at 350-3014 or 6, National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430 or 1, or Crime Stoppers at 352-1919 or 350-3106. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Thanks, Aja, for that update. The newly established Western Atlantic University School of Medicine on Grand Bahama is in full swing for the academic school year. With the school year just beginning, the university invited a number of its stakeholders on Grand Bahama to a community meeting to share updates on the new facility. Jay Philippe was there and filed this report.
Western Atlantic University School of Medicine held a breakfast meeting on its newly constructed campus on East Sunrise Highway. In attendance were government officials, healthcare and business leaders. Plans were discussed on the way moving forward. According to Bill Cogan, chairman of the university, the meeting was hosted to provide an opportunity for Western Atlantic University's School of Medicine leadership team to connect with community leaders. The aim is to initiate a pertinent discussion about the university's impact on Grand Bahama, in addition to exploring areas of collaboration.
We have the ability to educate up to 250 students in the current facilities, but their goal is an actual 3-phase project. The second phase will begin construction within a year. It's approximately 54,000 square feet of space, and it'll give us the ability to increase the number of students on the Freeport campus to about 600 students.
The newly constructed state-of-the-art medical school opened earlier this year with a full slate of faculty and staff. Despite some setbacks, including Hurricane Dorian, Cogan says the university is committed to completing its next 3 phases of the project.
During the pandemic, we still demonstrated the commitment. After the hurricane, the need even became greater for us to really be a good neighbor and to begin construction and to build our facilities. So in 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, we broke ground, and we worked through the next 12 months to complete the first 37,000 square feet of space.
Chief Executive Officer of Western Atlantic University School of Medicine, Peter Getz, shares why it is important to create awareness on the university's projections.
Everyone has heard that we were building a medical school, thought we were building one. We're set back about a quarter of a mile from the road, and people, I don't think, really realized we were here. And we had a 36,000 square feet already developed, and that we were open for business with 67 students here, more than 50 employees, mostly Bahamian. And we wanted everyone to know and be as proud as we are of Western Atlantic University School of Medicine.
Students will complete the first 2 years of medical school, which consists of 5 15-week semesters on the Freeport campus. Thereafter, students will return to the U.S. for a clinical clerkship teaching hospitals leading up to graduation.
It's 50% of their education here, 50% there, and everything they need to be ready to go into the hospitals to do their clerkships, same as if they went to the University of Miami or Harvard or Yale.
Peter Getz adds that studying at the Freeport campus will provide students the same opportunity as other medical major universities. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jay Philippe.
When we come back, an update on the newest maritime program for students as LNet collaborates with the Ministry for Grand Bahama to launch a cadet program. Stay tuned.
For all your upholstery needs on furniture, boats, and cars, call Upholstery Plus. Quality and efficient service done right. Phone 688-6209 or 375-6209.
Hi, I'm Wes. I like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Don't miss the amazing 25% off National Heroes Day sale at Park and Shop downtown this October 6th, 7th, and 8th, excluding underwear and red tag items. October has been deemed National Youth Month. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has exciting activities scheduled. Be sure to attend and support the youth of our nation.
They try to push rich on me. They want push rich on me. They don't care in front of company.
The King of the North is back. Howard 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Dream, believe, do. That's the mantra at LNet Maritime Agency during yesterday's press conference to announce the launch of the LNet Maritime 101 Cadet Program. Vice President Janet Shepard affirms the commitment of the company's president to doing just that. The program is a convenient substitution to the Ministry of Education's Technical Cadets Program, which came to a virtual halt following the passage of Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic.
It started with a vision to expand LNET by building the LNET Maritime Center, and upon completion, creating an LNET Maritime Institute to introduce students throughout the island of Grand Bahama to the vast opportunities in the maritime sector, while aspiring them to pursue careers in the industry. The foregoing would not be possible without the collaborative support of the Bahamas government, in particular, the Ministry for Grand Bahama, the Ministry of Transport and Housing, the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, the Bahamas Defense Force, and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture.
Shepherd also expressing gratitude for the collaborative efforts of the facilitators and lecturers who will play a vital role in educating the cadets on all things maritime when the program officially comes on stream on Saturday, October 29th.
Through the establishment of the LNET Maritime 101 program, cadets will undergo 6 weeks of training in maritime operations and logistics, Bahamas customs procedures, the Port Department policies and procedures, launch services, marine piloting, marine safety procedures, maritime quality and quantity surveying, and professional department.
In other news, the U.S. Embassy celebrating 100 women for their completion of the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs program. The program caters to teaching entrepreneurship skills to women across the country, and 35% of those graduates hail from Grand Bahama. Over 300 ladies have completed the 30-week program over the past 3 years, which includes a pitch competition at the end. This, according to the embassy's public relations officer, Sumaya Abedule.
This year we were able to give out $5,000 to eight winners of our pitch competition, which gives them an opportunity to really set their business on the next level or launch their business if they had just completed their business plan. Empowering women is very important to the United States, and we are really excited that for this program the United States Embassy has been able to partner with the SBDC to provide these resources for women, because when women succeed, we all succeed. And so making sure that they have the resources and putting them on equal footing in a traditionally male-dominated field really helps our academy succeed and our mutual interests really grow in a positive way.
Billie Jean Ferguson, who is a graduate of the program, highly recommends that women with dreams of becoming an entrepreneur take advantage of the opportunity, while local facilitator Deborah Pratt shares her excitement about seeing the recent graduates reach this milestone.
If you even have a thought of a business, you should sign up for the OR program, Academy of Women Entrepreneur. And I can promise you, you will get every single tool that is necessary to make your dreams a reality.
Working along with the ladies, watching them actually come into the program and seeing their businesses grow is an inspiration to me. Just seeing that, seeing them through all of that, especially when we get down to the end with the pitch competition, and to see the winners be so elated about getting those funds and moving on to be able to build their businesses even more. It's excellent.
Now, those interested are advised to keep up with the U.S. Embassy's Facebook page for an announcement on when you can register for next year's sitting. Well, stay tuned. Your Tuesday Check on Sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. High school volleyball kicked off last week at the gym. We also have some Monday night football highlights, but it's all about softball this weekend. The Greg Christie Memorial Girls Fast Pitch Softball Tournament will swing into action this weekend at the Emera Baseball Park.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, some teams would have had to
to cancel at the last moment. And so we are kind of disappointed in that. But we still have Abaco coming in. We have teams here from Grand Bahama, our Rising Stars League, and I do believe another league is going to bring a team in. Nassau obviously had to cancel out. St. Croix, one or two teams from the U.S., yeah. So that was a disappointment, but we're going to still pull this off and give the girls the opportunity to play softball. That's what it's really all about.
The softball showdown will consist of the 12 and under age division, also the 18U age group.
Team is very excited to showcase their talent. You know, we're limited to 2 teams here, so the ability now to play different teams from different places, the team is very excited to partake in the tournament.
Switching gears now in high school volleyball, 3 games played in junior boys action. Sister Mary Patricia Russell got the W against BMES in 3 sets. Sister Mary then turned around and defeated Jack Hayward Jr. 21-16, 21-13 in 2 sets. And Sunland won against St. Paul's in 2 sets. Now in senior boys play, LIS edged out 8 Mile Rock High in 3 sets. BMS Warriors got the W against Tabernacle in 2 sets. And Jack Hayward Wildcats won against St. George's in 2 sets. Games will continue this week at St. George's Gym and at the YMCA. And finally in sports, Monday Night Football update, the San Francisco 49ers beat the defending Super Bowl champs, the Los Angeles Rams 24-9 behind Deebo Samuel, who had an explosive performance on the ground and in the air. With the win, the 49ers improved to 2-2 on the year, while the Rams dropped to 2-2. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Back to you, Simone.
Thanks, Jay. And now here's your Tuesday energy tips, courtesy of the Grand Bahama Power Company.
My name is Libya Sweeting, affectionately known as Libby. I'm 31 years old, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. My story started about late 2019, January 2020, when I felt a lump, and I went to my family doctor at the time, and she checked it out, and we didn't think anything of it. When she examined me on the table for the second time, I went back to her. I just remember her looking. She examined it and she just stepped back from the table. She was like, "Are we examining the same lump?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "It's so big now." I went back to another doctor that they referred me to, Dr. Humes. He performed a biopsy on me. And one day of that same month, October, he called me. He was like, "Okay, you've been diagnosed with breast cancer stage 3B, and if you're deciding to do something, do it like yesterday." My daughter, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here, because I just felt defeated already, and she's my everything. There's no words to describe. You know, it's encouraged for older women to check themselves, but here I am at that time, 28, and receiving that message. So I personally wouldn't even recommend age discrimination when it comes to getting you check yourself. But if you're a younger woman and you feel like something is wrong, you feel any sharp pain, get it checked out. It's important to just fight your fears and get it done.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture presents Gospel Youth Jam, Friday, October 7th, 7:30 p.m. at Calvary Temple Assembly of God on Clive Avenue. Guest speaker, Cammie Hanna of Central Zion Baptist Church.
Team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Jerome Mizik, you are our Facebook friend of the night. We thank you for your support, and we want to wish you a very happy birthday from the entire ZNS News team. We hope you enjoy. And And that brings us to the end of tonight's newscast. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Simone Davis. Thank you for watching, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, a further shock to wallets. A BPL employee attacked, a bus driver shot and killed, and local NBA stars' big preseason debut. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Mid-morning, diverted traffic, piercing wails, streams of caution tape, crimes of scene investigators, a subsequent visit to the morgue. A public appeal. The makings of another bloody scene here in the capital that has shot the homicide count to now 104, the third for this week alone. The victim in today's case, a man known to police, won on bail for murder and attempted murder. On the scene for us, our Charles Fisher.
It's a scene becoming quite too familiar. Family members consoling one another after the loss of a loved one. The double shooting incident happening on Robinson Road Tuesday morning.
That has left a 32-year-old male dead and a 16-year-old juvenile male with injuries. The 16-year-old is presently at the hospital receiving medical attention. Information is that shortly before 10 o'clock this morning, a male was exiting a 15A bus in the area of Florida Court and Robinson Road. As he exited the bus, he approached the driver, fired a shot at the driver, killing him on scene.
Curious onlookers lined Robinson Road as adjacent businesses had to close due to the road being blocked off. Screams echoed as family members arrived on the scene. He was identified as a male in his early 30s.
We do know the age of the victim at this particular time. A family member who was on scene who presumed that is her child, I should say, would provide that information. But we will know more definitively tomorrow when a positive identification is done as to exactly who this individual is. I'm told there were other passengers on the bus.
Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings once again issuing this appeal.
You may have seen a vehicle leaving the area at a high rate of speed. You may have seen a suspect that may have exited the bus. We want you to reach out to the officers of the Criminal Investigation Department and provide them with the necessary information so that we can bring this matter to a close. I also take this time again to speak to parents and family members who know that their families are in possession of weapons. I ask you to reach out to your police department, provide us with the information. Let's get these weapons off the streets. These weapons, yeah, they're intended for other persons, but again, I reiterate, those weapons can actually be used on you or your family members.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, meantime, United Public Transportation Company President Harrison Moxey strongly condemning today's act of violence, which, as you just heard, ended the life of a bus driver.
This is a very sad day in our country, and we need to do all we can as a community, partnering with the relevant authorities to see that how best we can mitigate against circumstances like this repeating itself on our street. Once again, our condolences to the family.
Police later today reporting the shooting of an off-duty police officer who at the time was at a business on Wolf Road. Lloyd Allen is on the scene. Good evening, Lloyd.
Well, good afternoon, Makushla, and good afternoon, Bahamas. The country's latest shooting incident reported here in the area of Wolf Road near this John Shea convenience store right behind me. Now, police are still very much on the scene. Traffic is being diverted in alternative streets in the area. But at this time, we're speaking with an employee of the John Shea who's here with us. He wasn't there at the time of the incident, but does share some details about what happened. Tell us what happened.
There was a shooting incident inside John Shea. The security got injured, but he wasn't hurt at the time. He just got shot in his stomach and in his side and his arm, and they said he's gonna make it.
Well, some good news there, of course. The young man, of course, is a minor. His mother is here as well. She came onto the scene to ensure the safety of her son. Now, ma'am, of course, you said you spoke with him initially just before 6 p.m.
Yes, I did. I spoke with my son after hearing the sirens and saw the ambulance pass. I don't live too far from here. I came out just to see what had happened. After I found out that something happened at John Shea store, I was concerned. So I went to check on my son, but he is okay.
How relieved were you to know that your son was okay?
200% relieved.
All right, there. So a positive story, but of course, police continue on the scene. And at last report, we spoke with Chief Superintendent Kristen Skippings from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who indicated that the officer that was involved in this latest incident and shot, he is in critical condition. However, police have 2 persons in custody assisting them with their ongoing investigations. Now, the question was also asked whether or not a follow-up press conference will be held in regards to this. Skippings was unable to confirm. However, many persons asking the question as to the recent rise in crime that continues to affect us here in the Bahamas. Reporting here from Wolf Road for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Meantime, police have confirmed the names to go with the lives lost in the recent spate of homicides stretching from Wednesday, September 28th to Sunday, October 2nd. We begin with the man fatally shot to the upper body over in Crossing Rock, Abaco. He's been identified as 49-year-old Andrew Kiki Varacas of Pinewood Gardens here in the capital. That Thursday, September 29th, 27-year-old Daquan Lundy of Malcolm Road was killed on Hilltop Lane off John F. Kennedy Drive. Initial reports were that Lundy was the victim of a traffic accident. Detectives soon found out otherwise. Fast forward to 1:45 a.m. Sunday, and 19-year-old Candace Clark of Croton Street off Faith Avenue was shot multiple times about the body while at Junkanoo Village, Arawak Key. Hours later, 31-year-old Larry McIntosh suffered the same fate on Kenilworth Street of Mount Royal Avenue. As the case in all such matters, police are appealing to you, the public, to phone in any information that can assist in solving any of these matters. Now, while police continue to probe those matters, the hunt is on for 2 alleged teen armed robbers. The younger, Joshua Donkinson of number 13 Catherine Street, Nassau Village. The 18-year-old said to be dark-skinned, between 5'5" and 5'7" feet tall, and medium build. 1 year older is Samuel Stanley Higgs of Stacks Avenue, Nassau Village, whose complexion is also listed as dark brown. No indication if the 2 young men are wanted for the same crime. However, information on their whereabouts should be passed on to the Criminal Investigation Department, and that's at 502-9991 or 2, or download the P3 Tips app. Also making news tonight, a BPL disconnector is recovering after he was allegedly attacked by someone believed to be a Paradise Island condo owner. President of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, Kyle Wilson, says the worker was conducting a disconnection when he was accosted, and thankfully, because he knows martial arts, he was able to subdue the man until officers arrived. Wilson says this incident is indicative of the dangers disconnectors face frequently, and it's frustrating.
They're considered clerical workers, yet still they have to go into the community, into homes, into yards, to try to disconnect power into situations that can be dangerous, animal attack, insect attacks. You know, they have to wear hard hats, they have to wear shoes, gloves, use tools. And they're still being considered, even bucket trucks. They're at the mercy of persons trying to attack them sometimes. And Recently, there's someone who tried to almost kidnap two of the workers to drive in the BPL car, try to drive away with them inside the BPL car. There was one where a lady was accosted and held hostage. There's one where someone's cell phone was taken and smashed.
Meantime, BPL's bracing residents for another hit to their wallets as the cost of electricity increases. Delivering the grim news was the Prime Minister, who called a special press briefing at his Cable Beach office this morning. With the details, we turn our attention now to a report from our Carla Palmer.
With an increase in the cost of fuel on the international market by reportedly as much as almost 100% rate sold to Bahamas Power and Light, BPL, executives of that electricity corporation were successful in convincing the government that the time has come to increase the cost of electricity of consumers. From his office Tuesday morning on Cable Beach, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis confirmed that the government has given BPL executives authorization to move forward with the increase that could see as much as a $20 rise in monthly bills.
In February, the Russian-Ukrainian war began, disrupting global trade and raising oil and gas prices sharply. There was discussions at that time, about increasing BPL's monthly fuel charge. We made the decision to postpone the increase and keep the charge low as long as possible. Our economy is growing, adding new jobs every month. And I wanted to see more Bahamians working before we asked families to pay a higher light bill. When times are tough, coming up with an extra $20 a month is no small thing.
Prime Minister Davis says he's well aware of the economic challenges faced by residents. However, he says the increase cannot be postponed any longer and reasoned further why the increase is coming in this fall season.
The bottom line is that monthly bills will go up over the next several quarters before they begin to come down in 12 to 18 months. Introducing the increase at this time of the year coincides with lower electricity consumption as opposed to the increase coming during the spring and summer months when people consume more electricity.
To cushion the impact on consumers, the Prime Minister noted the government will initiate a value-added tax waiver.
I want to note here that we will increase the VAT ceiling from $300 to $400. So going forward, no VAT will be due on any electricity bills under $400, which will take some of the sting out of the increase for a great many BPL consumers.
BPL reportedly spends some $300 million on fuel annually. Consumers could expect to see an increase in their bill as early as next month, November. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
News of BPL's pending rate hike met with mixed reaction from the public. For some, it's a matter of budgeting. For others, it's another financial burden they just can't bear. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
How will the poor survive? The question being asked by some members of the public after Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis announced a pending increase in electricity bills set to take effect in November. Already battling a worrisome jump in inflation, with July itself showing a noticeable increase, one resident is at a breaking point.
How are we supposed to accept these increases when the salary isn't going anywhere? What are we supposed to do? Why don't the government pick up these extra taxes and extra fees? How do I feel? Even though BEC is necessity, our light is necessity, we cannot tolerate any more increases in no capacity.
On the other end of the spectrum, Pedro Hanna says with an increase in electricity coming, it may be time to prioritize.
Some things in life that we can't control for the most part, but I think it's a time that we really need to use wisdom and spend money on the things that we need as opposed to the things that we want.
Another resident insists many are already doing that, but there is only so far a dollar can stretch, while Raymond Bain is taking it all in stride, insisting electricity is a necessity.
Some people cannot afford it, especially these parents, single parents, with so many children to take care of. And, what about them?
Cost of living going up, so a little $20 wouldn't kill,
The increase comes as officials are predicting a global recession and as the IMF predicts inflation in the Bahamas could peak at 7.3% this year. The continued rising cost of living, now more tacked onto a BPL bill, has father of two Clifford Riley asking government, is it fair?
What about the single fathers? What the fathers who's battling right now? What about the mothers who's battling right now? Do you really feel their pain? They can pay their bills because why? They're the prime minister. But how can we put you as executive to govern our country and handle our affairs, legal and also financial, and we're not really benefiting from it?
With the cost of everything else shooting up, Rebecca Moss says the rise in electricity was inevitable, insisting people must adapt.
Change your habits of leaving the light on all night. Then if you have the cable on all day and you ain't using it, you got to do something. You got to cut back on something. That's the way I feel about it. Ain't no use complaining because if you want the light, you got to pay for it. If you ain't want it, then you don't pay for it. That's the way I feel about it.
The nation's leader says the BPL increase will occur in increments before costs begin to fall in 12 to 18 months. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Well, BPL's fuel charge increase comes as the power giant looks to reduce its dependency on the country, coupled with its nearly billion-dollar bill on fossil fuel imports, and over a reasonable period of time produce a cleaner and more affordable form of energy. According to Public Works Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, here's where they are in meeting those targets.
The XCOM has been reduced. Also, new technology in terms of battery capacity is being implemented. Also, a smart meter and prepaid infrastructure will be developed so that the consumers have more control over what portion or amount of energy is consumed, the same way we function with our phones, top up, prepaid, as well as transfer, as well as providing a better infrastructure for the collection of existing and accruing arrears.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. Well, in the far eastern Atlantic, we have tropical depression number 12 formed earlier today. It is now moving towards the northwest about 12 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds at 35 miles per hour, and we expect that to continue moving in the northwest direction, which should pose no problems to us in the Bahamas. And this depression could become a tropical storm tomorrow, which will be short-lived because atmospheric conditions are becoming a little hostile. And then we have this second area, a couple hundred miles to the east of the Windward Islands, also moving towards the west, and this has about a 70% chance of becoming a tropical depression within the next couple of days. And once that happens, this high-pressure system is expected to keep that system very much to the south, moving south of the Greater Antilles, which includes Cuba, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico. So again, no problem for us here in the Bahamas from this system. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
Also to come, teachers take to the Prime Minister's office and the Bank of the Bahamas expands. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
What makes us experts? Every bite. And while it's impossible to know how many there have been in KFC's history, each one of them is crucial. Because our secret travels from mouth to mouth. And we know that the first bite will never be the last. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, a triple breaded chicken breast, premium mayo, pickles, lettuce, tomato, and cheese on a buttery brioche bun. All our chicken expertise in a sandwich. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, only at KFC Nassau.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
The ongoing issue of the principal versus teachers at Thelma Gibson Primary School making its way to the doorstep of the Prime Minister's office Tuesday morning. Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson leading a bus filled with teachers to the Cable Beach site, all in hopes of having their concerns addressed. With placards in hand, the teachers are seeking the Prime Minister's intervention to have the principal removed for various reasons.
Teachers have no more confidence in the principal. We'll use every avenue that we have, whether it's industrial or legal, to have the matter resolved satisfactorily for the majority of the teachers, teachers' aides, the librarian, the staff at Thelma Gibson Primary School. One person should not cause others to not be comfortable and work in a safe environment.
Well, we can confirm that senior education officials met with Director of Labor Robert Farquharson at his Rosetta Street office today to discuss the dilemma at the Thelma Gibson Primary School. At issue, the industrial action in the face of allegations that Principal Olivia Daxon had an altercation with one of the teachers on the school's campus. When asked to comment on the issue, the Labor Director simply said, "Mum's the word."
The matter is before me, formally before me, and as such I'm not at liberty to comment on that. I can say the Department of Labor is moving quickly to resolve the matter in an amicable fashion, but other than that, I will not be able to say anything else.
In related news this evening, a pending change within the Department of Education. Effective next Monday, October 10th, Dr. Marcellus Taylor will demit office as its Director of Education to take up a senior policy position at the Public Policy Institute of the University of the Bahamas. Assuming the role of Acting Director of Education is Dominique McCartney Russell. The veteran educator has served as District Superintendent of Abaco. The Ministry of Education thanks Dr. Taylor for his significant contributions, adding its assurance that he will demonstrate the same high standard of service at UB, which has been the hallmark of his career. The COVID-19 pandemic may have done quite a number on the global tourism industry, but the continued relaxation of COVID restrictions is auguring well for its big comeback. You see, at a time when schools are just weeks off from reopening, July and August have always been peak travel months. And without fail, the data has proven as much. Take, for instance, what's reflected in the central bank's latest monthly report. That report points to total visitor arrivals by first port of entry swelling to nearly 680,000 in July. And you need only consider the fact that last year that figure came in at just 183,580. The increase attributed to sea traffic that saw a significant boost from just under 50,000 in 2021 to 520,000 plus. Add to this the upswing in air traffic from just over 133,000 visitors to 157,762. Zooming in on major ports of entry and total arrivals for New Providence more than doubled from 118,797 this July to 315,244 last year. Meantime, traffic to the Family Island shot up to nearly 320,000 from just over 53,000 a year earlier. More recent data shows that for the month of August, total domestic departures went from 101,530 to 132,347. And this while U.S. departures rose to 116 plus thousand from 94,166 the previous year, while non-U.S. departures more than doubled, climbing from 7,364 to 16,012. A local company secures a huge financial backing from a regional-based entity to construct and improve new roads and corridors on a bustling Family Island. Desmond Saunders tells us more.
We are very pleased with the deal that we have with Cygnus, and we are in discussions with them to look at securing more deals for the future.
President of Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, Atario Mitchell, sees the historic deal as a win-win for his company, the Bahamas government, and Exuma. This now that they've secured $25 million from Jamaica-based Cygnus Credit Investments Limited to complete the massive road improvement project for Exuma. Bahamas Striping's managing director, Alan Albury, says the new deal speaks to the company's vibrancy in the business market.
In this instance, we went with the international company because of the terms, the flexibility, and as the president alluded to, they did not sort of put a noose around us in terms of the stringent requirements, albeit there are requirements that have to be met. The greater challenges that small and medium-sized businesses have always had in the Bahamas is access to capital. And there are institutions that have cash laden locally, but they don't take the risk on entrepreneurial spirit or the Bahamian drive.
The $60 million improvement project includes street signage, guardrail and work drainage installations, sidewalk repairs, and verge cleaning. The project is a public-private partnership between the Bahamas Striping Caribbean Pavement Solutions and the government. It transfers risk and rewards to private sector partners who choose to collaborate with the government to design, finance, and build crucial public infrastructure with private capital as opposed to funds from the public purse.
The key elements of this 3P is the level of not just the employment, but the empowerment. And so naturally, there's scores of persons that are employed on the project directly. But beyond that, we've earmarked in excess of $10 million that will trickle down into local contracts or contracts for local service providers.
As construction moves forward, more funding will be acquired. Mitchell is hopeful that the project will be completed on time and within budget.
End result is Exuma is going to have 45 miles of asphalt paved roads. That's the main highway as well as some side roads. What we are pushing to do now is we have a schedule before we close for the Christmas. We are pushing to have 12 miles of road paved within this new 3P project.
The multi-million-dollar project is set for completion 2024. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Well, speaking of jobs, the high demand to find jobs for the unemployed in the South Beach and Southern Shores constituencies has led the Labor Department to hold its popular Labor on the Blocks 2.0 job fair next week, Saturday, October 15th at the Anatole Rogers High School, Faith Avenue, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Some of the employers seeking hirees: Atlantis Paradise Island, Bahama and Goldwyn Resorts, the Ocean Club, Royal Caribbean, John Bull, Bamboo Shack, and others, and all will be ready to hire job candidates on the spot. While the job fair is open to the public, Labor Director Robert Farquharson says it's intended to identify the best job opportunities for Bahamians across the country, particularly high school students.
Some of them may not have the criteria to graduate high school diplomas. So those persons in grade 10 and 11, we're going to have BTPI there. We're going to recommend that they enroll in the dual enrollment program at BTPI, where the jobs that are needed now, the jobs that foreigners are filling now, we're going to have them certified.
Well, it's a $14 to $15 million investment, and soon the Bank of the Bahamas will call One JFK its new home. Governor General, the Most Honorable, His Excellency Sir Cornelius Smith, attending a blessing ceremony followed by a tour of the building Tuesday. On Point Project Management and Construction Services began working on the new building the bank will rent back in April 2021. Now, company president Frenan Wilson admits they've been working to complete it since then. Chairman Sir Franklin Wilson says it was at this stage that they felt the need to host the event.
Everyone involved in this project has truly not only learned, but lived and is living through, as relates to construction, inflation, supply chain issues. We did deal with lockdowns during this project, and most recently, Hurricane Ian, which didn't hit the Bahamas. It came close enough last week where the cargo ships stopped running for a week because of the bad weather.
Before we turned the building over, we ourselves wanted to have an event where we invite the presence of the Holy Spirit, acknowledge the presence of the Holy Spirit, and say thank you to the Holy Spirit and as well the large numbers of people who were involved in the construction.
Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides, spoke to the value of the investment.
The Sunshine Group, in developing this building, is putting its money where its mouth is, because a lot of people would say what needs to happen and what should happen and who needs to do what. But this group, by investing in this building, is actually putting its money where its mouth is showing its confidence in the recovery of the Bahamian economy and growth that is to come. And, it's showing that it's bullish on the Bahamas, and we in the government share that optimism.
Well, now time for the weekly poll question. Here's how it works. Listen in for the question and then log on to our website, www.znesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. This week's question: do you think stricter laws and penalties would help curb crime in the Bahamas? Yes or no? The poll's final results will be aired on Friday. And as always, thanks for participating. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Conch Fiber Internet Bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
It's worth repeating time and time again. A mammogram is crucial to detecting whether cancer cells or a mass is found in one or both breasts in women and men. And recently, doctors have upgraded mammography equipment, making the process more comfortable, but more importantly, easier to diagnose breast cancer. LaDawn Davis visited the Family Medicine Center on Blake Road to get an update on the overall effectiveness of the cancer screening tool.
Doctors highly recommend women over the age of 40 years old to get an annual mammogram done at least once a year, especially if there is a history of breast cancer in their family. Family physician at Family Medical Center on Blake Road, Dr. Tanya Roker Davis, explains how their mammography machine has provided optimum results.
This is a 3D mammography machine, and it's more accurate than the regular 2D mammogram machine. So it gives you, instead of a flat picture, you're getting now a 3D image. If you think about pages of a book and you just look at a book that's closed, you can't actually see all the individual slices in between. But if you were to flip the pages of that book, you get thin slices of the breast tissue, giving you a more precise and accurate mammogram report. A lot of women would find that when they go for a mammogram, they have to be called back in to do an ultrasound. So this machine, the 3D machine, actually decreases the likelihood of you having to return.
Since acquiring the crucial piece of equipment to detect breast cancer early, these healthcare professionals have seen quite an increase in the number of women being diagnosed.
We've had the machine for about 2.5 years now, but only recently have we started actually doing the biopsies. So in a short space of time, we've done close to about 25 biopsies, and half of them have come back with a diagnosis of breast cancer.
Radiology Department Supervisor Melanie Obregon believes making patients as comfortable as possible during quite a nerve-wracking process is always key in getting the best images.
We clean the machine before and after each patient. So I position the patient here for the first position, which is what we call a CC view. They stand in front of the machine, and I, based upon the thickness of their breasts, I would use the pressure, which is the amount of weight. The paddle will come down onto the breast tissue. They'll stand in place. I'll quickly go over, take the exposure, and then set them up for the second position. It can be anywhere from 30 to 300 pictures in total for all 4 shots. So each breast would get 2 different shots. And it's very quick, it's minimally painful, and the patients are very satisfied with their experience.
Here's advice for those women reluctant to get a mammogram.
The mammograms themselves don't cause breast cancer. It is still the gold standard for women over the age of 40. So concerns with that, you'll have women who say, oh, when you're pressing my breast or the squeezing, that's going to cause cancer. No, it won't. Of course, you are exposed to radiation, but it's really, really low and safe, and the benefits actually outweigh the risks.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
And as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
At the Nature Conservancy, we believe in working with fishermen and communities in order to improve the sustainability of queen conch in the Bahamas.
The crux of the issue here is that there are not enough mature conch staying in the water to reproduce and produce enough offspring to sustain the fishery into the future. So the project is to visit a number of fishermen in different parts of the Bahamas and show them how to do the research on the queen conch and determine what may be the best proxy indicator of maturity by measuring multiple different parameters.
These engagements give fishermen and communities an opportunity to see how scientific research is conducted and be a part of that process. By the end, fishermen are asking for more information on how they can further be involved in research.
Knowledge is power. You know, a lot of people want power, but they don't want to get the knowledge. I think what you're all doing is real helpful for us to give us knowledge. I learned something from this meeting today.
We hope that by conducting these engagements, the Bahamas can be an example of how communities, researchers, and government can come together to work towards sustainable fisheries, not only here in the Bahamas, but around the world.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
A whole lot to do in the Family Islands this upcoming holiday weekend, and South Andros is not to be left out. Maggie Pennerman tells us what's in store.
So we're having what we call the Lisbon Creek Front Bay Festival. And so that is scheduled for the 7th through the 10th of October this year in beautiful Lisbon Creek. There are about 7,000 of us that are descendants of Lisbon Creek.
I'm looking forward for the family members to show up in great numbers because we are going to be showing our gratitude to this great James Kerr. Who would have thought it to be such a great idea? We are going to be unveiling the plaque and showing appreciation to this one James Kerr in the form of a monument that is right at the very entrance of Lisbon Creek.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We have partly cloudy skies. Temperature, not too bad, 82 degrees, 71% is the relative humidity. The wind's out of the north at 15 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,013.0 millibars. That is 29.91 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. It's 83 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Toll, Key and Abaco, Marshall, Abaco at 84 degrees. The Berry Islands, 83. Also, Alice and Bimini, 83. 84 in Harbor Island. Rock Sandy Lutra, 85, 83 degrees in Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space at Andros. Fresh Creek in Central Andros at 82 degrees. 86 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rumkey, and Georgetown, Exuma. 88 in Rygat Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Megwana, 85. Acklands, 85. Matutani, Nagua, 85. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 86 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of F5P, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the Northwestern Islands tonight through Wednesday, northerly flow 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights are going to be around 2 to 4 feet. A low tide takes place at 10:26 tonight, another low tide at 10:31 tomorrow morning. And for the central and southeastern islands through Wednesday, the winds are going to be light and variable with flat seas over the ocean. And as we take you to Thursday in the northwestern parts of our country, the winds become northeast. They will be increasing 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights building 3 to 6 feet. So caution flags will go up for the northwest Bahamas on Thursday. Low tide on Thursday takes place at 11:37 in the morning with a high tide at 5:54 in the afternoon. Now for the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, northeasterly winds as well, 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. International temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
I'm Corvell Pfeiffer. BTC's newly minted CEO, Samir Bhatti, is embarking on a nationwide tour. He's doing this to meet face-to-face with our team members around the country to get a first-hand assessment of work being done and to hear customers' concerns.
So this week is an important week for us as, our CEO, Samir, gets on the ground in many of these different family islands, but not only doing it alone or with 1 or 2 members of his team, but taking the entire senior leadership team with him, along with our union partners. I think Samir's biggest thing in this discussion, decision to really bring this team on the ground is I want everyone to hear what I'm hearing at the same time. I want us to be able to walk away from this trip and these respective trips looking at what strategic decisions we need to make and how quickly we can make these decisions.
The BCPOU has long been asking the executives of BTC to partner, to be real partners in basically everything we do because we serve the same people. And so this, I see, is a very important step towards building that partnership relationship or establishing it and then solidifying it so that our members could see that we are unified.
When we speak about partnership and being able to travel with the new CEO, it gives us an opportunity to understand what is actually happening in all the islands and participate in the interaction with the staff members.
The progress made in Abaco is both encouraging and impressive. BTC's efforts are ongoing there because we are committed to building Abaco back better and stronger. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corvell Pfeiffer. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Being the CFO at this young age, it really is very fulfilling to me, and it really shows that the hard work, the hours that I put in my career, they really paid off. Having such young persons in such a key role really shows that the board of directors have a lot of trust in the leadership of the young people. Being committed to excellence means that you put all of your effort into whatever it is you're doing to get the best benefit out of that task or anything you're doing in life.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
This is ZNS Total Sports. Welcome to your Tuesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. Topping sports news. Teams are back on the hardwood as NBA preseason action is underway. Not the start DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns would want, as they would stumble out of the gates in their 134-124 preseason opening loss to the Adelaide 36ers, a team out of the NBL in Australia. Despite the loss, though, Ayton with a good individual performance, finishing with 22 points and 6 rebounds. Speaking afterwards, Ayton telling reporters, "Flush it quickly and move on. This is the preseason. We're still learning at the end of the day. It's unacceptable, but at the same time, we're just getting back. We're just trying to polish up some things to get ourselves better." Next up for the Suns, a showdown with the Lakers on Wednesday. Also touching the floor for the first time this season would be Kai Jones from the Charlotte Hornets. Similarly, the Hornets would come out flat in their preseason opener, falling to the Boston Celtics 134-93. Jones playing 9 minutes in mop-up duty, finishing with 5 points and 5 rebounds. Next up for the Hornets, a matchup with Buddy Hield and the Pacers on Wednesday. Well, yesterday we introduced you to Fritz Spence and his current battle with cancer. Our Charles Fisher has part 2 of this emotional story.
Lots have been and continues to be done in a search for the cure for cancer. Tonight, Fritz is encouraging persons to not only get tested, but also get their names in a registry for a worthy cause.
The more that people can get tested, the more that people can go to the bone marrow registry and register. A lot of individuals out there, whether it's in the Bahamas, the U.S., all around the world that need donors. And cancer doesn't discriminate. I mean, you could be young, you could be old, you could be black, white, you could be Asian.
Spence indicated that since a lot of persons from the Caribbean and of black descent are not registering, it was hard for him to find a donor.
First time donor was my brother, my younger brother. He was a full match. But even with a full match, I relapsed after 5 years. This was 2008. So in 2013, that's when I relapsed. They had some remaining cells from 2008 because I couldn't find a donor. Actually, I had 2 matches, my younger brother and my older sister. But my older sister decided not to do the bone marrow because of religious reasons, she said. I had to go back and use my brother cells from 2008. And then in 2019, I relapsed again. We searched around, they couldn't find a donor, and my sister refused again to help in the situation. So they went to the registry and a match. It was a 6 out of 8. 8 out of 8 is like a perfect match. And that's what my younger brother, my older sister was. This young lady, I don't know who she is. She's from Caribbean descent, and she lives in, I think, Virginia or something like that. And she decided to donate her cells to me, and I'm here today because of that.
How has this affected him coaching-wise at Penn State?
It gives me a different perspective on coaching, on life. Kind of remind me a lot that track and field is like life. You have your good days, you have your bad days, and you just continue to press on and push on and move forward. And I think by being an athlete, that give me that perspective, say, hey, you have your ups, you have your downs. You just got to stay strong, both mentally and physically. And I think the biggest part of of my whole experience is being mentally prepared. My wife and I had a conversation, and she said, I'll take care of everything on the outside, and you take care of everything on the inside. And that's what we did as a team.
His story now getting worldwide attention.
I did a blog the other day, last couple months ago, with the Jimmy B Foundation, and they wanted to promote my story. And so I did an interview with them, and they just came out with it a week and a half ago, and just tell them my story and my journey with cancer.
Best of luck and stay strong to a two-time cancer survivor. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
And the UB Mingos hosted the first ever UB Cross Country Invitational over the weekend and had a reason to celebrate, not just because of a successful meet. Mingos Cross Country and Long Distance Specialist Levin Joseph won the Open Men's Division, running the 5-kilometer race in 13 minutes 59 seconds. Olympic gold medalist Ramon Miller took second in 14 minutes 36 seconds, and Kanal Jean finished third for UB in a photo finish with Roadrunners runner Jackson Ozayo. Mingos Dennis Williamson rounded out the top 5. Inaugural champ Joseph said he was excited for the win.
I was confident. This race is much shorter than the other races we did abroad. 2.5 miles. It's within my specialty. I'm an 800-meter runner, and usually all the mid-distance races are more towards my lane. I felt like the race was good overall. It was quick, it was short, and I really enjoyed it. The point of it was to have fun, and that's what I came here to do, and yeah.
And back to look at your sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
The Global Learning Exchange is now enrolling students. Pursue a bachelor's or master's degree, or become Microsoft or IBM certified. Call or visit GLX today.
As a CEO, it really delights me, quite frankly, to have such young, nimble, agile thinkers. Their innovation and creativity is really at the forefront when they show up for work and they're fully committed. Nothing, in my mind, beats the benefit of experience. The benefit of them on our team is tremendous. To really be thinking about fiber to the home is like the next frontier of technology. Rollout across the entire new province really brings a lot of excitement and energy to our teams. And I'm delighted to be thinking about the future of the Bahamas with fiber to the home everywhere.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
The Ministry of Health wishes to advise members of the public that prevention is key during this flu season. Practicing good cough hygiene can make the difference between you and your loved ones getting the flu or spreading the influenza virus. Good cough hygiene habits include covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and proper disposal of the tissue in a trash bin. Coughing or sneezing into your upper sleeve near your inner elbow and not your hands when a tissue is not available. Avoiding the use of handkerchiefs and towels as they hold germs, becoming a nest for the virus. And frequently washing your hands with soap and water, which is listed as one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick and passing the virus on to others. If you have any questions about how to practice good cough hygiene to avoid catching or spreading the flu, contact your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Ready, get set, and off we go into the 2022-2023 school year. The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training is pleased to welcome all new and incoming students. Parents, please note that registration for new students is ongoing. Kindly log on to the Ministry's website, choose the Student Registration Application tab, and register your child for the school nearest to you. Be sure to submit a current and frequently checked email address to ensure you receive swift feedback. You will receive a confirmation email within 1 minute of submitting your application. Help your child to make the mark this school year.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have that frown boundary now across the extreme southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and that will continue to fire pockets of showers and isolated thunderstorms around the Turks and Caicos Islands and the Inagua area tonight and part of tomorrow. High pressure will be building over the remainder of the Bahamas, so we will see an increase in the winds come Thursday of this week. Our forecast for tonight, mostly cloudy with a low temperature of 75 degrees, and tomorrow, partly sunny with an isolated thunderstorm, particularly in the afternoon. High temperature tomorrow, just around 84 degrees, and extended weather forecast. We'll continue to have those isolated showers, particularly in the afternoon, right through the weekend, but it looks as though the early part of next week we'll have a little bit more sunshine in our forecast. McKishna.
Well, thanks, Basil. And before we leave, just this programming note for you. The Prime Minister's national address has been rescheduled from Monday, October 10th to Tuesday, October 11th. Be sure to tune into the ZNS News Network for full coverage beginning at 8 p.m. And that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.